Caught up with a client the other day who has done the work to develop an awesome culture code. Then they let it slack off a little bit in one of the key hires. And that caused a massive ripple effect, which caused people to leave in this particular office. And it just wasn't good. And we talked about how to get that back on track. How do you ensure, and it's so important to ensure, how do you ensure that you have just culture aligned people in your team, especially in a position where it is a leadership position? And the reality is how leaders model the culture is, well, that becomes the law, that becomes the culture. So if you've got somebody that is in a management position, whether it's a general manager, whether it's a director of any kind, if they act in a different way to what has been developed as your culture code, then sorry to say it, but that's actually going to be the culture of their team, and how they react, how they respond becomes the brand, right? Because as we say, your culture is your brand. So how do we overcome that? How do we eliminate that issue from happening? And then if we come to our electromagnetic brand architecture, you may have seen something similar to this within the businesses you've been in. What this looks like, it's the key parts, right? So it's our vision, why we exist, it's our purpose, it's our values, our brand personality, our tonality, and what we deliver, and what the impact is, what the desired impact is. Now, okay, what does it actually look like in play? So let's have a look at, here's ours, right? And we're going to step through this and talk about why it's important, and why this one pager, whether you print it, and this is designed as an A3 page, so it prints out and you can keep it at hand, is not just for communication, right? So this is going to give you the way in which you do communicate in your marketing, in your messaging. But when we talk about messaging, when we talk about our storytelling framework, and that's part of our electromagnetic brand framework, we talk about storytelling, which has audiences, strategy, and rituals. The ritual component is about how you and your team breathe life into this, right? How you unite around one brand voice. So we've got up here, like why we exist. And I'll share it. Like, for us, business can and ought to be a force for good. That's a belief that we have. And when they do become a force for good, everyone wins. An awesome product or service alone is no longer enough. Businesses must do something good for the world as well. When they do, they unleash the creative and discretionary energy in their team members, in all of them. And that gives customers a noble reason to love and retell their story. So that's in essence, what we do and why we do it. All right. So how? Our purpose is to help all brands be good for the world. That's the big noble goal. Our values are there, those three. And then we go into deeper context for some of the words in there, like phonergy and ingrained and genius and play, all of these things. So we're on the same page. It's so important to have a shared understanding of what they are. And then we've got our tonality, right? How we come out across in the market, how we communicate, and then what we deliver, which is our electromagnetic brand model, renames, rebrands, refreshes, purposeful content strategy, and of course the support to deliver on that, team alignment and culture building, and impact-driven storytelling, with the desired impact of 1 million people living life to the fullest. Now, why do we have this all on one page? And well, the key is in the interview process that you have, especially with leaders, you want to be testing each of these things. Will this person be able to genuinely and authentically live this way? And have they got examples of how they've done that in their previous role, in their past, in their current personal life? Because if they don't have ways in which they align, not everyone's going to have that first-hand experience, but you need to stress test these things and actually use these in your ongoing evaluation. Obviously, you need to ritualize these. If you've got a senior leadership team and these are the values, you need to be workshopping with those senior leaders how they're living this, how they're modeling it, how they're celebrating examples of these. I mean, our values are very clear. They're the rules of play every day. They're how we're meant to show up. We've got rituals, we've got activities that we do on a regular basis to ensure that everybody knows that and understands what these words mean for them. So when you've got this, and it's clear that the person that you're hiring aligns to this, obviously you do your profiles to see if they're a fit with their behaviors and their skill set, right? And any kind of psych evaluation and all that kind of stuff, behavioral psych, all that stuff is great to see if they'll match the need for that particular role. But this is who they've got to live and breathe in their role over and above their capability.